My dear viewers, we will go to the short stories today, and the first short story that I am picking is The Lost Child. The Lost Child is a very interesting story. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But then the parents cannot afford it, so they just try to evade the wish that the boy has made. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? That's very interesting. Initially, that boy is demanding, but then somebody else is offering, so he does not take. What is the secret? Let us see. Come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shop that lined the way. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys which were on the way. And then, as he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes, because the parents were not so financially rich, or they were not able to afford those toys which were there in the fair. That is why these parents could only give him a stare and say no. But this boy is still insisting, if not toys, get me something else, because that's how the children do when they go to the fair. It was a village fair. I want the toy, he pleaded, he requested, but his father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant way, in a very strict way. Tyrant is otherwise, a very fastidious person who only behaves his own way and he wants people should listen to him. So that is how he is, in a very strict way, the father said no. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him finger to hold and said, look, child, what is before you? It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So this mother is trying to somehow distract the attention of the boy from the toys to some other thing, towards the field and all that, but still the boy is again looking at the toys only. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, dark purple wings. These dragonflies were there, and not only that, intercepting the flight of lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. So these insects were there on the side of this field. So this mother wanted this boy not to look at the toys. The mother wanted that the boy should at least look at some other things, so that he just forgets everything about the toys and all that. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, and when the bees and the butterflies are moving here and there, so the child is just following them, like, staring wherever these insects are going. And then, till one of them would still its wing and rest, and he would try to catch. But it would go fluttering, flapping upon in the air when he had almost caught in his hand, and he's trying to catch, and then he's not getting success in there. So that's all. It is a very beautiful description by the author. Come, child, come on the footpath. And the parents told that now come to the footpath. They are in the fair. This I already told you. He ran towards his parents gaily, happily. Gaily means happily, and walked abreast of them, just in front of them, for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects, worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. These insects were also coming out of their places. They were just enjoying the sunshine. So these insects were just like coming and swarming around and all that, and this child is just staring at these insects blankly, and he has completely forgotten that he was left behind and his parents have all moved ahead. His parents called from the shade of the grove, the trees, where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them, and then when the parents called, then he joined them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. That area, the grove, the group of trees, as he entered, there was a shower of flowers upon the boy. He began to gather the raining petals in his hand, but lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents shouting, the dove, the dove. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hand Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree. So now this child is running here and there. He's basically just getting lost into the beauty of nature. He's trying to catch the flies first, then he sees the flower, and then he sees the dove. And now the parents are not ready to stop. They are just calling, and then he wants to leave everything, the banyan tree, capers and everything. And gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. And now these parents have taken this child from the mustard field. There was a way from the middle of the mustard field, and they had taken the child there. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair. It was all going round, and it was whirlpool of the fair. It was all beautiful scene there, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. And he was so much staying. Repealing means he's staying there, and he wants to just stare and see, because he was so much fascinated by the scene that he sees around. A sweet meat seller hawk, gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round the counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open-eyed at his mouth, watered for the barfi. That was his favorite sweet. So now you see that this child is now going near the sweet shop, and he sees various kind of decorations of the sweets and all that, but he is only catching the sight of barfi because that was his favorite sweet. And then he wanted the barfi, so he is calling, I want that barfi, he slowly murmured. But he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded, because his parents would say he was greedy. He knew that his plea would not be attended. Plea means the request, and then his parents will say that he is greedy and demanding things. So he half-heartedly just made the request, and he moved on. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A flower seller hawk. So now you should be very careful that first of all it was toy, and then there was sweet, and then sweet shop, and now it is the flower seller. A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped, and half murmured, I want the garland. But he well knew his parents would refuse. He knew that his parents will not be able to afford, they will not be able to purchase even the garland for him. But still he made this request that he wanted garlands also. Without waiting for an answer, he moved. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, purple balloons flying from it. And now after garlands, they were there. This hawker particularly was selling the balloons. So now he will definitely think about purchasing the balloons, and he knows that his parents will not be able to get him the balloons also.